Double double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Long before the witch's brew in Shakespeare's Macbeth, frogs and toads have been on Earth. They have been characters in fairy tales and horror stories. They have been called plagues and pests. But the fact is, they have been on planet Earth much longer than humans. And, as time went on, we have slowly come to realize that they play a far bigger role in our story. The story of our own survival. Amphibians are the most threatened vertebrates on Earth. Many species have become extinct for a number of different reasons, including habitat destruction, pollution, and disease. The thing is, we just cannot afford to lose them. They play such an important role in the ecosystem. Yet in South Africa, 29% of frogs in particular have become threatened. So when you find out that a frog or a toad that hasn't been seen for more than 10 years has been rediscovered, as was the case with the Amatola toad, spotted once at the top of the Elandsberg Mountains behind me, and then twice in the Hogsback Valley down below, then you want to do everything you can to protect it, even if it means trying to find a needle in a haystack. The Amatola toad is endemic to this area. Given that it is so small in size and critically endangered, finding one is not going to be easy. So I'm meeting Dr. Jean Turant of the Endangered Wildlife Trust and other enthusiasts to see if we can find it. Last year, they only found one toad on top of the Elandsberg Mountains on a private farm. So naturally, that would be the first place for us to look. We drove as far up the mountain as possible, but there's only so far a vehicle can take us, so the rest of the climb is for us to make on foot. At an altitude of 1,900 meters, this toad is already taking my breath away, literally. This hike, or should I say climb, is not for the faint-hearted.
I want to swear. I want to say all sorts of swear words.
Jean and the other froggers are already at the top, where I'll be joining them in the hunt for this extremely scarce toad. Assuming that I do get to the top, which at this point is an uncertainty.
These shrubs are so thorny. I'm bleeding. Take a rest. It is a lot drier this year than it was last year at this time. So I'm kind of hoping that if we go right to the top of the mountain, there'll be a lot more moisture because of the mist. And there has been 2 snowfalls this year. And hopefully then we'll find the toad there, hopefully. Please, let's find that toad.
Oh, I hope this climb is worth it.
I hope so.
The climb was definitely worth it. The view from the top is an incredible sight. This is where the toad's name derives from, the Amatola mountain range.
The Amatola toad is one of 2 critically endangered species that the Threatened Amphibian Program is looking at. We selected it based primarily on its very high level of threat and also the fact that it occurs in very few, if no, protected areas at all, and therefore requires working with the various landowners in order to protect its habitat in the long term.
This toad is extremely habitat specific. It lives primarily in grasslands at high altitudes, close to small water sources. It doesn't stay in the water, but rather prefers the grassland seepages to get the water that it needs or to lay its eggs. It generally lives under rocks or fallen logs. The one that was found up here last year was also spotted at this time of year, but the lack of rain this year will diminish our chances of finding what we're looking for. So, we're going to need plenty of luck and energy. No rest for the wicked or the unfit.
There's a bit of green. There's a lot of hope.
Last year I was here while it was flooding and we found one toad. We're not quite sure of what brings them out, whether they need a lot of rain or whether the warm weather will be enough, so we'll see if we get lucky or not.
This part of the Amatola Mountains is where the Tay River starts. And after I caught my breath, we soon found some amphibian life.
I think this is the common river frog, or a type of river frog. It also could be a clicking stream frog. You get these, it's got the really long back toes, see?
Oh, I see.
So typical toads have the carotid glands behind the eyes, much more bumpy skin. The frogs have much smoother skin. Frogs are much more aquatic, so this one lives and is happy in the water. The Amatola toad's a lot more terrestrial.
So that's why this would be too deep for the Amatola toad.
Yeah, the Amatola toad wouldn't have such long legs. It doesn't have this extensive webbing.
I have hope that we just might find what we're looking for. There's definitely amphibians around, there's water, so fingers crossed.
Well, amphibians in general play an extremely important role in most of our ecosystems. They're pivotal in the food chain, where they eat a lot of pest insects like mosquitoes and flies, and so they play an important role as consumers of those invertebrates. On the other hand, they get eaten by a lot of other animals, birds, reptiles, other amphibians.
So amphibians are right in the middle of our food chain, but amphibians are also very sensitive to a changing environment. The slightest variation in water quality or modification to their habitat, for example, can affect them drastically.
They're also really good bioindicators of what's happening with our environment, and I think the fact that a third of them are threatened means that our environment is not how it should be. So that really should be a warning sign to all people that our ecosystems are not as healthy as they should be.
The ecosystem here seems to be in good shape, so where is that toad? I'm not losing hope though. On with the mission.
When the Amatola toad was rediscovered in 2011, it had been 13 years since it was last seen. And that discovery happened at the bottom of the valley over there. Then last year, it was seen again right here, but it was only one male. So hopefully today, we'll see more. There's something. Oh, it's a spider.
6 kilometers further and still nothing. Perhaps it's time we call it a day. The sun's rays are getting longer. Maybe tomorrow we'll have some luck down in the valley below, if I make it down this mountain.
So we didn't find the frog, and now the wind is really picking up, and we have to make our way down. Ahead of me, a good 30 minutes or more downhill walk awaits.
So much walking and climbing and searching and no toad. Hopefully it's only the absence of rain making it hide a bit better and not a sign of a system that's going downhill. All is not lost. The sounds of healthy vocal cords fill the air as the last rays glide over the valley. Armed with my wellies and forgetting about my aching body, it's off to listen to the frog concert.
Ooh, 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 look! What's that?
Oh, yeah, there you go. That's a
Hello.
nice looking stream frog. Well spotted.
The frogs are making quite an interesting noise. What kind of things are they communicating through their calls?
Right, so calling is crucial to frogs' breeding strategy. It's only the males that call. So the main call is the advertisement call. Some frogs have distress calls when they are under stress or think they're being predated on. And other frogs have a release call. So after they've mated, they actually have a release call to release the female. And what we're hearing here is the advertisement call of clicking stream frogs. The males are calling the females to the breeding site.
I'm having a bit of a moment with this clicking stream frog. Beautiful, isn't it?
So, we have frogs in abundance, but where is the elusive Amatola toad?